will shock you to the core.
Finally, another podcast about
Godzilla!
and all his giant monster friends.
This could be the end of civilization.
Yeah, probably. So join your hosts, Chris Chickini and Chris Casares.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the podcast. From Odo Island.
Oh, Big Bartholomew. Did you think that I was going to use this on you? Did you think that we were going to have a chain match? You need to read the fine print in your contract. Because it's not me that you're going to be facing. Oh, no. You're going to be facing my creature from the sea! I call him the sea creature!
Yes, yes. This is the podcast from Odo Island. I am Chris.
Oh Lord, it's a sea monster.
Yeah, you're picking up what I'm putting down. So I am one of the smoothest Chris I know, and with me as always is the slick Chris.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Slick indeed. Mid drink.
Mid drink.
Mid drink for the slick man.
Yeah. Well, whenever Conan introduces Andy, he's always mid sip. So you know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Real good audio content from you there.
Yeah. Well, anyways, this week, as Mr. McElroy gave away, Godzilla is going against a creature from the sea.
Yeah. The sea monster, known in some areas.
Ebirah and others.
Yes.
So this movie has several names. Godzilla vs. Sea Monster, Godzilla vs. Ebirah, Ebirah, the creature from the deep.
Horror from the deep.
The horror from the deep. Thank you.
Yeah.
I tried to do some homework, and so I could come in a little bit more knowledgeable than normal. So yeah, this movie is kind of a weird one, and that's going to be the main focus for the episode. But I think first and foremost, we need to take care of business, and that business pertains to the OIWF.
That's right. So, those who have been following along with the Odo Island Wrestling Federation on our Twitter account, at Odo Island Pod, probably saw last week's events. First there was a great competitive contest between Bandai 94 Gamera defeating Playmate Shin Godzilla.
Well, it wasn't very competitive.
It wasn't, but Gamera is guardian of the universe. He's inherently a good guy, so he treated that match with respect, and Playmate Shin Godzilla with respect.
Right,
but
Gamera knew he outclassed Shin Godzilla.
He did. Oh yes, he did. Fantastic signing. We're happy to have him here in the OWF, but unfortunately, it was overshadowed by the dastardly Trendmasters of the Universe group. They were supposed to be making their tag debut, Trendmasters Gaigan and Biollante against a Bandai Space Scouse figure and Bandai Duras, and really just reprehensible that attack that went down.
And I think I speak for everyone here in the OIWF, where we wish the best on the recovery of the Trendmasters' opponents, and justice will be served here to the Trendmasters of the universe for their cowardly acts. And we're going to serve that justice by giving them a tag team title shot.
That's right. That's right. If you saw, I just want to point out really quick. If you saw in the figure photography, I'm sorry, the photography of my last live event last week, where Biollante literally ripped off Space Gauss's wing. He's going to be on back on my toy shelf for quite a long time. I don't know when we'll ever see him back again, if ever.
Some people weren't cut out for this business.
No. Just a young kid trying to find his way, and yep. Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's reprehensible.
Icarus flew too close to the sun and his wings melted. So life lessons all around.
Yep. So I guess we're going to have a little bit of a championship week going on here in the OIWF after this podcast drops, because we're going to have 2 title matches, 2 titles decided by the time the next episode is. Oh Lord. But yes, the Trendmasters of the Universe will be getting a tag title shot. They'll be going up against another debuting tag team. Well, 2 more debuting tag teams.
We're stacking the deck.
That's right. So
be careful what you wish for, because you just might get it.
I'll introduce the first team, and then I think you should really introduce the second one. So debuting here in the OIWF is going to be the Super Mecha Bros, and that will be Bandai 2002 Kiryu in a Bandai 1993 Mechagodzilla figure.
Oh, wow.
Impressive team. Little, actually, bit of trivia. The Mechagodzilla, the 93 Bandai Mechagodzilla figure was actually my first ever Bandai figure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just realized that as I booked him in a match against these vicious bohemians. But
well, I hope you know what you're doing.
Well, he's been with me for a long time. I think he can hold his own. I hope there's no foul play from the Trendmasters of the Universe. But there's another team.
So we dug far and wide, and we looked into what we had in our roster. And I just want to warn the Trendmasters of the Universe: don't write checks that your butts can't cash, because it's the checkmates of Playmates Space Godzilla and Playmates Destroyer.
Impressive tag team. You can tell Playmate Space Godzilla clearly has an amateur background, because he has that mouth guard over his teeth at all times.
He's a shooter, Chris. He's a shooter.
Yeah. So, triple threat right there to crown the first OIWF tag team titles.
And
team champions.
And we want a good, clean competition. That's why we put 2 other teams in there to keep the Trendmasters of the Universe in check, mates. But also...
and speaking of clean... The Mechagodzillas are clean, silver, metallic boys. They are squeaky clean.
They are squeaky clean, but since this is a triple threat, there will be no disqualifications. So.
And also deciding our second title of the week, we are introducing a Mid-Atlantic Championship, which is essentially, I guess, going to be like our cruiserweight title, right? It's going to be open to our mid-weight figures, which basically means like
the little guys.
Yeah, but they're not, because they're mid-size.
Yeah, they're little. Nothing wrong with a little figure.
Yeah, 4 or 5 inches. No official cutoff in the height on this. It's like the old TNA's X Division. There's no limits in the X Division. There's no limits in the Mid-Atlantic Division except maybe height.
I used to love when they put a weight limit on the X Division. The X Division, it's about no weight limits and weight limits.
Yeah, wasn't that just to get around like Smojo, like outweighing everybody for a while?
I think it was because Eric Bischoff took over and he didn't understand it. He was like, "What are you talking about? Just make it the cruiserweights. Shut up."
Yeah. Still kind of holds to this day. But, we're going to have some form of battle royal. We're still signing all the final talent for that battle royal. But we can at least announce a few competitors this time. Carl's Jr. Godzilla. Coming off Carl's Jr. Godzilla Jr. coming off a strong G54 Impact showing, where he never won but also never lost. A lot of drawing power there. I forget which company made it, but it's a small Gulala, or the X from Outer Space figure. Looking forward to that. We get a Bandai Kamada-kun figure. That's Let's see if memes can translate to success here.
He is just a white meat baby face, straight from Tokyo Bay. He's looking to make an impact. I'm rooting for him.
Yeah. He's probably he's a popular indie darling that fans have been asking us to sign for a while. Excited to have him on the roster.
And we just signed him. I hope he doesn't get covered.
Hey, we run a clean shop here.
So does AEW. They signed that dude. He got covered like the next day.
Yeah. And then Jax being represented finally now in the OIWF. Jax wrote in from the Battle Pack set. Also will be one of the contenders in that Mid-Atlantic title Rumble.
And if you remember our multi-episode Jax figure saga from this past year, you know that I consider the Rodan to be the pick of the litter.
I agree. I agree with that. Battle Pack size or regular size?
Yeah, I prefer the regular size, but since this is the Mid-Atlantic title, we got to go with the Battle Pack.
Yeah. So a lot going on. We're getting these titles decided, and then I think after that we got to start thinking about who's going to be the new number one contender for Neca Shin Godzilla version 2.
I think a lot of things need to happen. We need to have a contender list, and we need to decide who the number one contender is. I think that's definitely on the agenda.
Yep. But this week is about the other titles. The championship weeks here in the OIWF. Very exciting. Yep. Very exciting. I appreciate all the new Twitter followers that we've slowly been gaining, and how they've tolerated our constant figure Federation posts.
It's pretty much taken over.
Yeah,
it's pretty much taken over the Twitter at this point.
Listen, it's engagements get listens.
You also mentioned some G-Fan stuff the other day.
Oh yeah, I was debating if we should talk about that or not, but it's I'll just sum it up really quick. I don't know. Did you kind of pick up on the gist of what it was?
Yeah, you could say consult the tweet.
Yeah, well, no, just it's making the rounds right now. I just didn't want to dwell on a negative topic because it is very negative. But in a nutshell, JD Lees, who's the guy who doesn't believe in COVID, and also the guy who runs G Fest and G Fan, which very fittingly this controversial issue that came is also coincidentally the final issue of my subscription, and I've been subscribed to that magazine
since the 90s,
since 1995.
Yeah,
so issue 11, and I think I referenced on the last episode that I just kind of flipped his editorial at the beginning. And it was again, just kind of doubling down on the ridiculousness of, in his mind, the ridiculousness of any sort of safety precautions taken in regards to COVID. And I did not actually flip through the rest of the magazine. I actually read that and I put it away. If I continued to flip through it, I would have seen at the back of the magazine, he wrote an article defending the use of blackface in movies.
No.
And I was like, So I guess you didn't get the gist of it. So he wrote an article called "Is Cancel Culture Going to Come for King Kong versus Godzilla?" Because I think as we kind of touched on when we did, when we did that movie, we kind of touched on it. It was they put Japanese actors, they darkened their skins for that movie, and it's to play natives, and he wrote an entire so the article is cancel culture going to come for King Kong versus Godzilla? The King Kong versus Godzilla is not referenced until basically the second to last paragraph. The rest is him justifying the use of blackface in older movies. It's so tone deaf, so idiotic, so moronic. It's just it's nobody's. I can't even.
These are relics of the past. Let's just leave them there. You're not going to be Indiana Jones. You're not going to find gold there, dude. Leave it alone.
He also bemoaned. He's like, oh, people get outraged on this stuff under the guise of being progressive, and I was like, man, you're just a dummy, just a big old dummy.
I just hate how people become so devoted to their own political agenda that they think any other thing that happens that goes against that sort of thought process has an agenda of its own, like more expansive than just being like, hey, maybe this is stupid.
Yeah, it's so I don't know. I don't know if cancel culture is going to be coming for King Kong versus Godzilla, but my cancel culture is coming from my G-Fan subscription. So, G-Fan, it was a good run for, well, I don't know, for a while.
25 years.
25 years, honestly, and I'm not like kind of saying this as like a retrospect thing now with like how shitty it's kind of ending, but there were many years there that it was like I don't really have a need to keep subscribing to this other than to kind of like for support, but because every now and then there was like some good articles written by other people and stuff like that. But yeah, the guy who runs it, he's just really kind of become like became very and when I say in the tweet, he's like the cranky old wrestler doing the sleazy shoot interview in a hotel room for like $100. It's just any movie that came out, wasn't happy about it. Anything new coming out of Godzilla, just not happy about it. Just anything new with the Godzilla fandom, just not happy about it. And it's just
he hates the flips and the spots.
Yeah, he's very Jim Cornette-esque in that way. So.
I got you 110% there. I could not care less about what Jim Cornette is up to at this point.
Yeah, but out of over the past week, like that made the rounds. Monster Island Buddies, he has a huge platform. He shared that article and like really was like, "What the shit is this?" Basically, and it's been nice to see like all like the other podcasts, content creators, and whatnot, kind of coming together. And yeah, it brings like now there's like more people talking about like starting their own fanzines or other similar type projects out of like response to this. And I was like, oh no, that's nice to see good stuff come out of
maybe
something bad like that.
Maybe if you don't like what people are saying, you just start your own thing and you make it more along the lines of what like what most of the fan base I feel like is in line with, which is maybe not being on the fringe of things going forward. Maybe having a more calming, mature voice is the way to go. Yeah. So, in conclusion, JD, big dumb idiot, and here I am. I'm set. I'm putting the ball in the tee, and I'm just going. All right, just nice and easy, Chris. Just get out of this segment, go to the other one, and you just swung the bat, and you just turned around, and you hit me right in the dick. Yeah. Anyway, this is one of our best episodes. Good solid start so far. Moving on to the main course now, we have Godzilla versus Ebirah. Came out in 1966.
Oh shit! Someone did do some
was re-released in 1972.
Oh,
like I said, I looked into this. I was
set the table.
Yeah,
hit me with the background. Set the table.
No. I just wanted to set that up. Just be like, this movie was re-released, seen by millions of people. Why don't you let us know more of the details on this movie?
Sure. Here's your kind of quick background trivia. So I think I'll end with that actually. So. This movie was directed by Jun Fukada, who at the time was just coming off of doing a spy comedy movie for Toho called 100 Shot, 100 Killed. And it was kind of like a spoof on like the James Bond movies and like kind of slapstick. It starred Kira Takarada, who also stars in this movie, who was also Ogata from the original Godzilla movie. And so Fukuda described his movies as, at the time, described them as being action dramas, and that's like was what he was going to bring to the Godzilla franchise. But he was never like really, even though he basically directed most of the Godzilla movies from the 60s and 70s, not all, but a good amount of them. He really never particularly enjoyed directing Godzilla movies because he thought there never should have been a sequel to Godzilla, and he thought that every sequel then devalued the message of the original 1954 one. So
understood.
He kind of did it all he kind of did it all begrudgingly. But either way, so that kind of explains why this movie is so centered on the human characters. And, well, that's one of the reasons why it's so centered on the human characters. One of the other reasons is that 1966,
This wasn't
War of
even
the Gargantuas.
I was going to say, this wasn't even originally a Godzilla movie.
Nope, but we'll get there. But so originally, or not originally, but so War of the Gargantuas came out in the same year, and that kind of actually, most of the money for the special effects movies went to War of the Gargantuas. So Godzilla kind of got the short end of the stick. Yeah, so that's why there is kind of limited monster action in this movie. There's no new Godzilla suit. That's the same Godzilla suit from Monster Zero, which has been beat up to shit.
Yep.
The head was like being loaned to Ultraman, which was filming at the same year. Yeah, that suit's looking a little rough, but also stars Akihiko Harada, who's Dr. Serizawa in the first Godzilla movie, who comes back with an eye patch.
I was going to say, that's how I recognized him right away, was the eye patch. I was like, oh, awesome.
Yeah, but then Kumi Mizuno, who is from Monster Zero, she's back as Dio. So it was a lot of, and a lot of the other actors, all those actors, except for Kumi Mizuno, and a lot of the people that worked behind the scenes on 100 Shot, 100 Killed, including the composer, were all brought in to work on this movie. So that's why you kind of get a unique tone in both story and music. And then, of course, as you alluded to, this was originally a King Kong movie, or meant to be a King Kong movie. It was the first story that was pitched to Rankin Bass for the next Toho King Kong movie, and they rejected it because they felt it wasn't close enough to the TV show.
Sure.
I think it was supposed to be like Operation Robinson Crusoe, King Kong versus Ebirah, or whatever it was going to be. But
that's terrible.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's no Robinson Crusoe. I mean, the story is essentially the same. Like, nothing really changed from removing Kong and adding Godzilla. Like, both stories were the same. But that's why it's why it's like infamous for Godzilla acts a little out of character. Yeah, a little different. A little takes a little bit of interest in Kumi Mizuno for some reason. Scratches his nose before he's gonna take a nap.
He gives her the old I see a kitten,
Yeah, or maybe he's asking if she likes to party. But there's no real explanation given as to why Godzilla's in the cave in this movie, but in my headcanon, I like to think that that's just where he ended up after the battle with Ghidorah at the end of Monster Zero.
I just figured he was hungover.
Could be.
You ever get real hungover and fall asleep in an uncomfortable place? I mean, I could imagine just sleeping among rocks being incredibly uncomfortable. So, I just figured he got wasted on some nuclear sub somewhere, and
he kind of sleeps like how one of my cats sleeps, kind of lounging half off the couch.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I guess if it's comfortable for them, I guess it's comfortable for him. But
yeah.
But anyway, that's the background. So, have you seen this before?
First time seeing it. I had to watch several different versions to get the full movie. I got 20 minutes in on the English version, and it just started buffering. So then I watched about 5 minutes of the Japanese version from that point, and it just started buffering. So then I went back to the English version, and it was good.
All right. Well, good thing is not that much of a big difference between either version. There, the opening scene is different. They use, but other than that, it's think pretty much the same.
In the Japanese version, they called the sea monster Ebirah, and in the English version, they said it was just the sea monster. I think that was
There's two dubs. There's two English dubs, and I think one he's referred to as Ebirah. I'm trying to remember. I haven't watched the English version in a long time.
Well, now you know the scene where I had to stop and switch over.
Gotcha.
But yeah, calling it an action drama would be a good way to describe this movie. I'll talk about some of the things that I really liked about it. The island scenery was awesome. Very beautiful island that they shot at. So every shot was very captivating and kept my attention. I feel like if you're just sometimes in like a black background or something, where it's just like, it's nighttime and you're in the ocean. I don't feel like there's much to look at there, but this had a lot to look at. So it kept my attention that way. Having the heels show up in the submarine with like just like dumping their piss pipes out into the ocean to keep Ebirah away. This is how I took in the movie until I found out that they were using fruit to make the yellow stuff. It did look like they were dumping their piss into the ocean to keep Ebirah away. And so
the red bamboo are eco-terrorists.
So when they showed up to the island, I was like, oh, that's hilarious. That's awesome. And then you had to wait a little while. There's like the girl escapes and they're chasing the girl and they find the cave and they kind of just yada yada for about 45 minutes until they wake up Godzilla. So not much happens between like the Ebirah attack on the fishermen who escape and Godzilla Awakens. It's a big stretch of that movie, a very long second act to get to the third act where Godzilla finally awakens.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like it feels like they are constantly just trying to break into the red bamboo base to free Dio's people, who are, the people from Infinite Island, they're Mothra's people. But it's like, I feel like, that could have been greatly condensed there a little bit.
But here's how the movie started for me. Basically, like, this woman's praying for, or trying to find out where Yatta is. Is that the guy's name?
Yeah, so it's Yatta's mother, yeah.
Okay. She's like a medium, and she's like, oh, he's not in where the dead people are, so he's got to be alive somewhere. And so like there's basically like 5 minutes of exposition that's completely unnecessary. Like, he's at a police station, no one will help him. He goes to the press, no one will help him, or no one will take him seriously. So I'm
conveniently sees the poster for the dance off.
I was going to say,
to win the yacht.
he then shows up in a 3-day dance competition, like the next week. I'm like, why don't you just start here? Did we really need all that? And so, like, his friends drop out, and they're like, "Oh, I've been dancing for 3 days. I can't do this anymore." By the way, it's much different.
They're not his friends. They're strangers. They're strangers that just decide to start hanging out with this weirdo
because they fall down right next to him. I thought they were all friends. Okay,
no.
Weird way to meet someone. I've never walked into a 3-day dance competition and made 2 friends. But if you've ever seen It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, there's a dance marathon on that show too, and basically they're all just trying to sabotage each other. This dance competition, much more by the book here, so good on them.
Yeah.
So I thought Yatta's brother or whatever is, I forget their names. I'm sorry. He just goes, "Oh, can I enter this competition?" He's like, "You're kind of late to start a dance marathon 3 days in, dude." He's like, "Oh, I just need a boat." So they basically go to a boat, and they go inside, and they're like, "Oh, this boat's awesome. Yeah, I could definitely go across the Pacific Ocean in this boat." And then the quote-unquote owner, like, he has a rifle pointed at him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm the owner of this boat. Get out of here." And, like, I'm just thinking to myself, in 2020 America, these 3 dudes are dead. Like, that dude does not say, "Hey, I'm the owner of this boat." That dude goes, "Hey, fuck you."
Well, I don't know how obvious it was in the English dub, but it becomes very apparent in the Japanese version that that's actually a toy gun. It was not a real gun.
It shows up a couple minutes later. When
when he picks it up and goes like, "Oh, it broke."
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
That's what I'm like. Hell of a pistol you got there, pal. Or hell of a rifle you got there, pal. But I like how they're then out to sea somehow because the kid just knows how to sail.
Well, they fall asleep and he goes like, "Oh, fuck it." Take me out to sea.
He knows how to do it and everything, so I'm just like, oh, that's weird. And then they wake up and they're listening to the radio and they're just like, oh yeah, this guy stole $4 million and he's thought to be hiding out in this boat that got taken out into the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, what did they say he...
I forget what they
What did they say he robbed in the English version?
I forget. They just said he robbed either a
Yeah,
bank
I'm trying to remember what it said that he robbed, but in the Japanese version, he robbed like a pachinko parlor. Which...
And
Which makes me like even more like a harmless thief.
Yeah, they make it. All right, so they have $4 million cash just hanging around there. Whatever you say. But yeah, so it's just funny how they find out they're kind of like dumb, so they don't really piece together this guy is not the owner of the boat and he is the thief. And they're like, "Hey, why'd you shut it off?"
He's like, do I look like a thief? Yeah.
But
yeah, they take the whole being cast out to sea very well overall.
Yes. Like, nobody attacks the dude or anything. They're just like, all right, well, let's make the most of it. We have food here, so we're fine. But then James Claw attacks, and they get shipwrecked, just like the brother, and the millions are lost in the wreckage. So that's the first you get to see of a monster in this movie, and then you get to see him a little bit like 10 minutes later, and then you get like no monsters for an hour.
I like the total shift of this whole like, hey, like, you know, we're kind of like on this like Gilligan's Island like misadventure at sea, and then like they land on the island, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, this terrorist organization has just kidnapped a whole bunch of natives. Oh, they're shooting them down as they run away. Oh, two got onto a boat. Oh, Ebirah just ate them. Well, this got fucking dark really quick.
Not only did Ebirah eat them, he skewered them and then ate them. Very dark stuff.
Froze. There, yeah.
No, he has a claw and he has a skewer, and he skewered the people and then he ate them.
Yeah, it's like, well, very, that's good.
Yeah, very dark stuff.
I was like, this is not the lighthearted misadventures of a ragtag group of fellas looking for this guy's brother. This is something a little bit more serious now.
So, the reason that they're at the island is because they're making nuclear weapons, and they captured the native people so they can make their yellow liquid to keep Ebirah away, because Ebirah does not like the liquid from this yellow fruit. That just looks like potatoes, to be honest with you.
I was like, are these bananas or what's going on here?
Yeah, they just look like yellow potatoes. Excuse me. Maybe I'll edit that out, maybe I won't.
Someone's been dipping into a little bit of the yellow juice themselves.
Yeah, I like the yellow juice. I'm glad Ebirah drinks it. So that's sort of the plot of the movie. So they eventually run into the girl who escapes because everyone's distracted by Ebirah eating the two other dudes, and basically they get with her and they're just like, okay, we're all friends, like we're not with them. So they find this cave when they're running away from Dr. Serizawa, and eventually they discover that Godzilla is in the cave. Not right away though; it takes them a little while.
Yeah, they spend like, I don't know. Time seems like it flows by very quickly in this movie, but yeah, they're like hanging out in that cave for like a little bit, and they go, "Oh, yeah, look at that, Godzilla's down there." Huh.
So then they get the idea because they're trying to break into the facility to stop them and rescue the people. And oh yeah, by the way, Mothra is kind of in this movie.
Yeah, Mothra appears before Godzilla does in this movie.
Yeah, so she's just sitting there. Doesn't do anything.
She's sleeping.
Yeah,
she's sleeping.
Same thing with Godzilla. It's like they didn't need anyone in the suits. They just had the suits there, and they're just like, all right, this is good. This is a Godzilla.
I think Mothra is actually a matte painting for a lot of those initial appearances, and then like you can tell when it turns into. So it's not. It's actually one of the leftover props from Mothra versus Godzilla.
And then at the end of the movie, she turns into a flying mustache.
Oh yeah. We'll get to that.
Well, anyways, so Infant Island is in this movie too. There's two different islands, and
Devil Island and Infant Island.
And the dude's brother is there with the Shobijin, who are like praying to Godzilla, to Mothra. So eventually they find the sword when they're first climbing up the mountain for no reason to like see if anyone will rescue them, basically after they're shipwrecked. And they stick the sword into the ground because apparently it's like a lightning storm every couple of minutes in this island. It's a lot like Breath of the Wild. And
I think. Well, this is what I mean by time goes by quickly. In the Japanese version, when they're waiting for that storm, like there's one line where they go, up 3 days and still no storm. I'm like,
look, they had plenty of puzzle boards to keep them busy. But they had like this, like the girl just like for some reason has this like enough copper wire to like go from the sword at the top of this mountain down to where Godzilla is to wake him up.
Yeah, one of the talk about dated references. Like the first time they try to sneak into the facility to rescue the people from Infant Island, they come into like a storage room, and Dio picks up like that bunch of copper wire, and Takarada is like, he's like, hey, we're not going shopping. She's like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh boy, that's a little dated. That's
makes sense, I guess.
So fortunately she grabbed just enough copper wire to complete that lightning rod. Just enough.
Yeah, it was almost perfectly measured.
Yeah.
So lightning strikes the sword, which then trickles down the copper wire and wakes up Godzilla. Because, yeah,
and then
sure.
hilarity ensues.
Yeah. So then Godzilla wakes up and he's just like, hey, I'm King Kong now.
Gets into a nice little volleyball competition with Ebirah.
Oh, yeah. That's the first thing he does is he wakes up, goes outside, sees Ebirah there. They throw rocks at each other.
Yeah. Nice little game of volleyball. Nice little brawl into water.
I was like, oh, so it's like the Ocarina of Time Ganondorf fight.
Also, I think at the same time, I also forget the guys, the brother character who was looking for Hyada.
Yeah, I don't remember their names.
He gets captured during like their first raid on the facility.
Multiple raids.
He gets tied up. And he goes away remember he gets like tied up in the balloon and floats away and just conveniently lands on Infant Island. It's like this whole movie is like convenient things happening.
Yeah,
they're
like mid prayer and then he just like falls into people. It's like, pretty hilarious. That's probably the funniest moment of the movie.
Like, let's recap to this point, right? I need a boat. Oh, look at that. There's a dance competition for a boat. Oh, look at that. I conveniently bumped into some people who take me to a boat. I need to find my brother. He's lost at sea. Oh, we get shipwrecked. We end up at the same island that my brother, like in the same general area where my brother got shipwrecked. Oh, I just got tied up in a balloon that floated away. Oh, I'm reunited with my brother.
It's like after this year, it's believable, to be honest with you. Like,
they all need to buy like scratch tickets, like when they get back to the mainland. All need to buy scratch tickets.
Yeah, so he winds up on Infant Island, and then they decide to get Mothra to help rescue the people there. And then, so they're busting the people out, and they just decide, Godzilla's out, let's just nuke the island. Call it a day. We have the secret facility that we build the nukes at. Let's just nuke the place and get out of here. And so they kind of do that, and then Godzilla destroys the plant, and they're trying to stop it now because they're like, maybe this wasn't smart. And then Mothra helps them escape. Oh yeah, Godzilla fights the sea monster. That happens too.
Yeah, Godzilla finally kills Ebirah.
It's not much of a fight. That's why I kind of forgot it happened.
Yes, he also skipped.
He rips off his claw, rips off his skewer, and then they fight underwater.
Great recap. Godzilla also fights the giant condor.
Oh yeah, I called him No Dan.
So you're not too far off because that is actually one of the Rodan puppets from Ghidorah and Monster Zero that was just repurposed.
Yeah, I could tell he looked like Rodan, but he was a little bit smaller and stuff. So I just called him Nodan.
It was like it was like puppet. It was one of the puppets with like fur and stuff added to it, and the horns and all that shit taken off. But
Talons.
what else does he fight? He fights some jets because the Red Bamboo has their own Air Force apparently.
I do want to say one of my favorite part about watching old Godzilla movies is just seeing airplanes fly into Godzilla.
Interesting strategy to try to employ. I like how he grabs one and then throws it into the water. That was fun. But that also kind of gets us to he gets really tuckered out from fighting both those things, and decides to take a little bit of a snooze. And that's where a little bit earlier, where maybe that's why he did the little nose thing with his finger. Maybe he was asking Kumizuna if she likes to party because he's so tired all the time. He needs something to kind of keep him up.
Maybe he's like Swerves McKenzie and he's all partied out, man.
Maybe. So, very odd. And then, I like how everyone's in the basket flying away with Mothra, who they then decide to randomly rotoscope animate, as you said, and it looks like a flying mustache flying into the background when they rotoscope are flying. And they all go, they're all yelling for Godzilla to jump off the.
That's my favorite switch. Was all right. So Mothra is knocks down Godzilla so they can get the people into the basket so they can escape. So it looks like they're fighting kind of, and then the people are like, "Oh wait, did it seem to you that Godzilla was on our side?" And they're like, "Well, is the enemy of my enemy my friend or my enemy?" And they're just kind of decide that "Oh yeah, Godzilla, you weren't a jerk to us, so maybe we'll tell you that this island's gonna blow up and we should get out of here." And Godzilla's like, "I understand you."
So here's where I'm kind of going with my headcanon with that scene, right? So it's already been established in Ghidorah that Mothra can talk to Godzilla and Rodan and other monsters, right? So this movie comes after Monster Zero, where Mothra is nowhere to be found. Godzilla had a little bit of a tough go in Monster Zero. And now maybe when they were seeing each other, because before they get into their little tussle, and it's not much of a tussle. Godzilla just shoots his ray at Mothra, but doesn't shoot it at her. Shoots it at the ground in front of her. I always kind of get the sense when they're chirping back and forth with each other, he's kind of "Yo, where the fuck were you just year and a half ago? When Rodan and I had a deal with Ghidorah, and he kind of kicks the shit out of us. What were you doing all this time?" And she's like, "Oh, I don't know. Up until just about 15 minutes ago, I was just napping. Not only did I sleep through you getting kidnapped, I sleep through my own people getting kidnapped by this terrorist organization. So, I'm going to wake up for them. I ain't going to wake up for you." And I think that's maybe a little tussle happened there. I think they're frenemies at best at this point.
Okay. Makes sense.
That's how I interpreted that scene there.
But then, so they get off the island, and a very well done nuclear explosion happens. Very convincing.
For all the budget went, just making that island fall apart.
It looks like they set fire to a Ghostbusters house. I
thought it was all right.
It's not a nuclear explosion. it's just not.
Yeah. And then Godzilla swims away to continue his the second leg of the South Seas duology, where this essentially leads basically directly into Son of Godzilla after this. So
yeah,
that's so. I mean, if you thought the island shots were good in this movie, they are very good in Son of Godzilla. They had some cool island sets in that, but such an odd movie. So much surf music.
There's a lot of surf music. That's why I call him Claw, James Claw, because when Ebirah appears, there's James Bond surf music, and I was just like,
well, there's one piece of music from this movie. It's not Ebirah's theme, which I think is actually really cool, and I think we should cover that at some point. But It's the one that plays during like the 3-day dance competition. It's like a straight up knockoff of the Batman theme, which was out at the same time. Like that same like chromatic up and down, and then it even kind of goes like na 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 na, like not that blatant, but like it's pretty similar. And I was like, yeah, Batman was out at the same time, and this is like around the time too. Like there's that infamous failed idea that's not super developed of the Adam West Batman having a crossover with Godzilla. so to say it's in there, to say it's in the forefront of their mind, I think is fair to say. So I don't know, but the surf music is so, I don't know. I guess that fits. I don't listen to surf music in my personal time, but for whatever reason, like when surf music is in like a monster movie, I find it like very entertaining. But I don't listen to surf music outside of the context of it being like used as a backdrop in like a monster movie.
Well, I have all the Dick Dale albums.
Do you? Is that a lie?
That's a lie. So yeah, I guess we've spoke enough about this movie. If this movie were a wrestler, who would he be?
God, I gotta start thinking about this before I always like every time we do this, I go, "Oh yeah, that's right, we're doing this now." And I always forget to think about it ahead of time. So
I'm gonna say Juice Robinson.
Ooh,
It's weird and goofy, and despite the fact that you kind of like it, you'll always remember the time before he was Juice Robinson and he was in NXT, and you're just kind of like, I don't like this guy.
Oh, I got it. I got it. You got the Juice Robinson one. Took my mind down a path I didn't expect. This is Ricky Starks.
All right.
Particularly AEW heel Ricky Starks. That's always like wearing like loafers without socks.
I feel like Ricky Starks is better than this movie. But all right,
yeah.
Why don't we get into our official ranking system now, where 5 is the main eventer, the cream of the crop, the mountaintop, and 1 is a lowly jobber, a curtain jerker, a nobody. He ain't on the poster. He ain't drawing any money. Handshake and hot dogs is payoff. So then we have various forms of mid-carder, 2 being a low mid-carder, 4 being an upper mid-carder, and 3 being right in the middle. Chris, I'm going to shoot it over to you. Where do you rank this one?
It's such stupid fun that it's got to get the mid-card rank for me. It's a 3. It's not great. It's not bad. It's so weird that it's a fun watch. I wish you kind of got to the monster stuff a little bit faster. Didn't need to you could trim that second act a little bit.
Yes.
But at least the human characters they're quirky enough that at least on your first viewing they're probably going to be entertaining enough to kind of get you through.
Yeah.
But probably not one you're going to go back to a lot. So when something is to me, when something's non-offensive like that, then it's a 3. It's a mid-carder for me.
Okay, I'm with you. It's very watchable. I didn't get bored watching this, and the story's fine. It is what it is, but it does have too much of my pet peeves of Godzilla movies, namely being long breaks between monster scenes, not enough monster action, and so for that reason, I'm giving it a 2. I said, it's probably the best 2 I've ranked so far in terms of being watchable and stuff. And the human stuff alone is good enough to where it's kind of like a fun little action drama, as they described it. That's a good way to describe this movie. But I'll probably never watch it again, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's that's a fair place to put it. It's worth checking out for it being such an oddball entry. Actually it's watching this I remember, like, especially in terms like this podcast, like, you know, rewatching this after, like, you know, we just did King Kong Escapes like a couple months ago, going like, I was like, you know what? I'm really glad they rejected this story so we could get King Kong Escapes, because that movie is bonkers and so much better.
Oh, 100%. You get no argument from me. I thought King Kong Escapes was a very it was like a diamond in the rough out of these movies.
Yeah, a little like
I was not expecting to like it as much as I did.
Yeah, so I'm happy we live in a world that not only did we got Godzilla versus the Sea Monster, and we also got King Kong Escapes. What a positive way to put it. We got both, you know? They didn't just throw the script away. They said, screw it. We'll still make a movie.
If you have to watch one or the other, pick King Kong Escapes. But either way, you're not watching a bad movie.
Nope. You'll have a good time with both. But, you know, yeah, Doctor Who, though, is just...
he's just the best.
What does he say to that guy before he shoots him? He's like, yes. Off we go. And then, bang, shoots the guy.
I forget what he said, but it made me like him as a heel. He's like Janelle. What does a heel walk like? He walks like Doctor Who. And now...
I'm just a Neca boy. They make Godzilla toys. I'm just a Neca boy. They make Godzilla toys. Eat your heart out, playmates. Games off the X Plus.
So as you can tell, I am a Neca boy. But, Chris, did you get any figs?
I did, I think. Let me think. I don't think we covered... I think we both have this for purchases this week. Is the Maser Cannon Godzilla 2002 Neca.
Yep, that's one of mine.
Yes, yeah. So if we didn't cover that the last episode for me, that is a purchase for me this week. But I know you have that as well.
I got it right here, too.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Seeing that you have that and another one, I'll just cover my other non-figure purchase really, really quick so we can spend more time on the NECAs.
Sure.
Because this will be quick. So I think I said 4 months ago on this podcast that I ordered Gujira-kun for the Game Boy, which is the Japanese version of the Godzilla Game Boy game.
It came.
And I think I said 4 months ago, I was like, it's coming by. The seller emailed me and said, hey, you got the $2 shipping. I'm going to be sending that by boat from Japan. I don't know how long it will take. Or, you know, for $20, you can have it shipped by air. And I said, sir, give me that $2 boat shipping. And it'll be a nice surprise when it shows up one day. And this week, it showed up. And I was like, oh, what a nice surprise.
That's hilarious.
So I have the American version. You know, I'll just kind of nutshell it briefly. The Gujira-kun game is kind of unique. It's like a puzzle game. Essentially, like it's like kind of chibi, super deformed style Godzilla characters, kind of based on like the Monster Island or Monster Land cartoons in the 80s. Like everyone's like very cartoony and stuff like that. And it's basically like a puzzle game where like you play as like Godzilla and like you have to clear there's 99 stages, I think, and like you essentially clear a level by breaking all these rocks, but like, you know, like you have to break them like in a certain order to like solve them. Every level's a puzzle, and at the same time there's all these like super deformed chibi style Mechagodzilla, Anguirus, Hedorah, Rodan, Baragon, and I think that's it. Like, they're all kind of, like, coming to, like, attack you, like, while you're solving this puzzle, and they all have, like, their own kind of, like, Pac-Man style, like, AI and behavior patterns. Cool puzzle game. If you want to check it out, check out the Japanese version, because it has smarter AI, and there's also, like, an atomic breath power-up that was removed from the American one, so...
Yeah, because, you know, Godzilla shouldn't have his atomic breath. So why do Americans take that away from Godzilla?
I don't know. But if you like puzzle games, I mean, this is like a series that had a couple of games in Japan, and it's regarded as like a very, very good puzzle game. Definitely worth checking out. So that was my. So there you go. There's my capsule review of Gojira-kun.
Well, I'm glad it finally came. I was under the assumption that you were never going to get that.
I was like, well, I think with the by boat shipping, the whole thing was like $12, and so I was like, you know what, I'll just hope for the best.
I thought maybe P-Rock moved to Japan or something.
That's good. That's some good inside baseball right there.
Yeah. So since I played the song earlier, and you mentioned it, we both got the Mazer 2003 Neca Godzilla, and or NECA 2003 Mazer Godzilla, however you want to describe it. And I think it's pretty cool. I had the other version. It still has the shoulder pads, which was the weird part of this figure.
Yeah. Yes.
R.I.P. Road Warrior Animal, obviously. And
I didn't mean to laugh at his death, but yeah, that was it was a good reference there at a good time.
The shoulder pads on this figure remind me of the Legion of Doom. That's why I said it. And of course,
wait. So now you have both the non-variant and the variant, right?
Yes.
So is one? Wait, I can't think fast enough on how to put this together. I was gonna say, is one like Road Warrior A, and is the other Road Warrior B? Because they both the shoulder pads look a little different,
Yeah, maybe this is like sort of an Animal Heidenreich situation.
One writes poems more than the other,
or maybe it's a Hawk and Power Warrior situation. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Tokyo SOS 2000. I don't know. Really reaching with this gag.
The yellow could be the sunny part. Yeah, but this one's cool. He's got a blue thing going on with the fins, which isn't present in the other one. Obviously, his entire torso is like yellow, and it looks really cool in my opinion. It's advertised as glow in the dark, but it does not glow in the dark. I thought I saw it on either the box or somewhere online, but it's not. So don't fall for that. So this one's really cool, but I also got the.
Oh wait! Can I ask you really quick?
Sure.
So I'm looking. I have the two of mine next to each other.
Yeah.
The variant and the non-variant one.
Yep.
Like, is it me or is the variant one a little shorter?
I'd have to look at them side by side. I haven't yet. I feel the variant is shorter on the 89 ones. Because I put those next to each other, and I was like, they don't look exactly the same.
That's how I have these 2002 Kiryu ones. But also, like, part of me is like, is it one shorter than the other? But also, like, especially like NECA figures are, fantastic figures overall. But it's like they're very, very stiff when you get them out of the packaging, and different parts of them are stiffer than others. Like every figure will have something that's like super stiff. And I'm like, oh, can I just not like pose my variant one in the same way? But like they almost look like shorter to me, a little shorter.
It might just be like the legs on one are shorter than the legs on the other. They look pretty similar to me overall, but you might be onto something there. I don't know. I feel like when I look at some of my other figures, like some of them are shorter than the other figures when there's basically the same one. Like I'm looking at my 89. My 89. Excuse me, my Space Godzilla and my Destroyer Godzilla, and the Space Godzilla one looks a tiny bit smaller than the Destroyer one, but it could just be like the way the legs are positioned. Like one leads one way, the other one leans another way.
Yeah.
They both look similar, like almost like they're mirrored, but it could be something weird like that.
Yeah, I didn't think I was gonna like when I saw like the production photos of the or prototype photos or whatever it was, like the Mazer one. I didn't think I was gonna like it, and then like once I actually saw it, like in person, I was like, oh man, I was like, this is actually pretty awesome because like the paint is like. Did you notice like there's like a bunch of like weird like purple splatter too, like closer like below the waist and stuff like that, like.
Oh yeah, it's it goes all the way to the tail.
Yeah, like really, really cool. How it came out, like I said, like when I first saw the photos, I was like, I don't know about that. Like that kind of looks like whatever. But once I saw it in person, I was like, oh shit, this is actually really good. And like I said, that's one of my favorite suits.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll give a quick shout out to a regular commenter on Twitter. I think it's Devil's Lettuce. I think somebody asked us about Godzilla: The Half-Century War recently, and you had not read that.
Nope, I'm an uncultured swine. Take a shot.
So that
Take
is
a shot.
Fantastic. Take a shot. So that is, I would say, not even. I don't even think it's close. I think that is the best Godzilla comic series that's ever been printed. And this design of Godzilla, the 2002 Tokyo SOS style, is the Godzilla's design that's used for the most part, predominantly throughout that series, and looks great. Looks great in that whole comic.
I've always loved the Millennium series Godzilla design, so you'll get no argument from me. And I have to take some time to go through the Half-Century War.
Yep, it's I think it's only 6 issues. I think.
Oh, that'll take me an hour.
Yeah. I want to say one thing before you move on to your next purchase, because I talked about how I got the Space Godzilla 94 Neca Godzilla figure the other week.
Yes.
And so I was just randomly last night, I was making it hold a White Claw can, and I texted a picture of it to a friend of ours. And I was looking a little closer at it, and I noticed that the left eye has a white pupil, and the right eye had no white pupil. And I was like, oh, that's kind of funny.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was just a little painting error on mine.
Okay.
But it made it, like, because I kept looking at it, I was like, why does, like, the face look kind of weird when I'm looking at it? Then I was like, oh, it's missing a pupil. So,
maybe
or would that be the iris?
I'll abridge.
Is that the iris or is that the pupil? No, it's the pupil.
The iris is the white outside. The pupil is the black interior. So
yeah, thank you. So it's missing a pupil. So I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. But also made me feel like a little, I was like, oh, I have this like weird Sarazara style. Maybe I should get like a little eye patch or something.
I will abridge this podcast when it's over, and I will let you know if that's the case on my figure too. But I also got the 89 Biolanti variant, and this one's really cool too. One of the things I noticed is that the neck joint is a little bit off-centered, so like basically like it's a little bit higher on the left side than it is on the right side. I don't know how this happened, but it still looks fine. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of weird how that works. It looks uneven. If you get really close to it, just like it lines up with the fins, but it just looks like it was unevenly sculpted.
Interesting.
Perhaps a few Steve Weisers were involved in this, but I like this one a lot because it reminds me of Scott Hall's ring attire, but it's puke instead of it's like a Scott Hall
DX.
Yeah, I was going to say if
Wolfpack.
Scott Hall joined DX, it would be his ring attire. It also comes.
Careful, talk like that. That figure's going to start a stable in the OIWF.
What? But it also comes with an atomic breath beam, so I really like that. Extra points go to all my atomic breath figures because I rock that shit in all my figures.
Yeah, I have all my atomic breath attachments are sitting in either a Ziploc baggie or the original box they came in.
All mine are on full display for the whole world to see.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't like breath attachments for some reason. I don't know why.
I like how this is our tomatoes on Godzilla figure. This is where our line is drawn and how we display them, but I like how we both just don't care. It doesn't matter. Excuse me.
I mean, I'm glad that I have the option because especially now that we have a figure promotion that is demanding more and more fake photography. You never know when that's going to come in handy.
I think I think I have something in mind for Biolante Bio, Godzilla. So that's we'll book it in the booking meetings that we have.
Hey, Booker Man.
I respect you. But this is overall this is one of my favorite figures anyway. I really like the regular version of this one, but to have like the variant version too really drives home the fact that like Godzilla, NECA Godzilla figures went on a high note, and
yeah,
it wasn't with a whimper, but with a bang. I only did a podcast with you.
It's weird how it's like as we're getting to the end of NECA's time with us, it's like all these NECA figures that I did not particularly care about having before, I now suddenly want like suddenly want like kind of like badly now. Like maybe the next time I go to Target, I'll probably buy like that Godzilla versus Destroyer Birdie Godzilla one, even though it's kind of
yeah, it's probably my least favorite out of all of them. Yeah, definitely that one and the Space Godzilla ones are among my least favorite ones. It's
funny, the Space Godzilla one, I actually have like, now that I have it, I go like, oh, look at how like simple and entertaining you are. I don't know. It's like endearing to me, like in a weird way.
It's a good design. It's just the figure is like it's a good figure too. But out of all the NECA figures, it's just kind of like the worst ones in my opinion.
I think I think the worst one is the first Shin Godzilla figure.
Fair enough. The head's kind of weird.
You don't have that one, right?
That's
like
actually,
you have the good one.
I have 18 of 23. So I'm only missing the two Mothras, the 54, and the Shin Godzilla.
The first one.
The first one, yeah.
Yeah.
And then then obviously the radioactive one.
Oh, the green, the Loot Crate exclusive one.
Yeah, and obviously I'm never going to get that one, so that's kind of why I'm okay with not completing this set. If I ever see them in the wild, I'll obviously pick them up. But
that green Loot Crate one is supposed to be like shitty too. It's like you watch like reviews of it. It's like the arms aren't attached very well, so it's like the arms fall off, and it's like I don't know, something else like falls off it. Like it looks like it was like a rush job. But again, that was like the early days of NECA.
Yeah.
But like I think of like how many times I would see it like in a store, like an aftermarket store, where it's like you could buy it for like $20 and I never bought it. And like now, like people are selling it for like, because NECA's ending, they're selling it for like $200 like on eBay.
Oh, I saw
one.
I saw one for like $500 a while ago.
Yeah,
I was just like, not a chance.
You have fun with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would probably say I don't have the two Mothras. I don't have the world champion version of Shin Godzilla, as I'll just call it now.
You should get that one. It's a good figure.
Yeah, if I can find it, I will. Actually, the first run of it sells pretty cheap on eBay.
That's what I have. I don't have the box version. I don't even know if there was a box version of this one.
There was. Then they changed like some of the fins a little bit, but it's pretty much the same.
The first one looks great, so...
Yeah, it's minimal changes. I don't have the 85 one, 84, 85. And I don't have the original 54 one. That's what I'm missing.
The 85 one is the same exact thing as the NES one.
Right. But I want like the I don't know. It's like I want like the original 84, 85 one.
I think there was one at our local Target last time I was there.
Oh, really?
So I think there's a chance you can pick that up.
Well, we're heading into the weekend where I do my weekend routine Walmart and Target runs. I want that King Kong. I'll tell you that right now.
I want that one too. That one,
yeah.
The head that looks like the original like poster or VHS box art that I had when I was a kid. Like I want that, just display it with that head.
Yeah, I love how that's clearly a 1933 Kong head.
Yeah.
And it's but it's supposed to be, this is not supposed to represent any particular Kong because licensing.
Yes.
So, but like that figure looks awesome, but hopefully we have it in time for Kong Christmas.
I'm looking forward to it. Well, that does it for this week's episode. But before we go, we always like to end it on a real skeezy note. You know.
Oh wait, we got to figure out what we're doing next.
That's what I was saying. We like to play. We like to play some blackjack, like a couple of ruffians.
You got 21. I got 22.
You get too many of those too. What is this? Chocolate or the such?
Oh, Jake Roberts. I wonder, like, how many people, like, I'll just say this as I'm shuffling the deck. Like, you know, I appreciate our weekly growing audience and downloads and whatnot. But I always, like, kind of wonder, who sticks around, like, the very end of this podcast? Because, you know, they always make the joke. It's like, how do you keep a secret? You hide it at the end of the podcast, right? Because, like, you know, everyone stops listening to, like, the last, like, 4 or 5 minutes of the podcast. I mean, I do it all the time. So a lot of people don't even hear this segment. The people who do, like, really get some gems out of it. So
yeah, we like to keep it loose and fun. We're not doing anything earth shattering here. We're just telling you what's going to happen next.
We're playing a little game of blackjack with a bootleg deck of cards that have a bunch of Godzilla movie posters or kaiju related movie posters on it. Whatever gets us to blackjack we're gonna choose one movie to do, and we're not going to reuse cards that we already have seen movies of, which I think I was afraid of this. I'll just say the first card I drew was King of Spades, so we're at 10 right now. I won't acknowledge the movie just yet.
Make sure it's last too for maximum suspense.
Oh my god. Alright, so we are at 19 right now. So the rules are we stay at 17.
Yep.
We are like the dealer at your local casino. Local casino. What? This has to be one of the most interesting selections we'll ever have to make.
Alright.
So, our choices in movies are the Showa Gamera classic, Gamera vs. Gauss,
Okay.
or Godzilla X Megagears.
Oh baby. Chris.
I put this in your hands.
Chris,
Either one is going to be interesting.
I'm so sorry to do this to you, but I have to see this movie that you hate so much. I think this is the only one. Is it? This might be the only Millennium Series movie I have not seen. It's one of the only ones. So I think I have to do this to you.
All right.
I've seen some YouTube stuff on this movie, but I've never seen the movie itself.
Yeah.
So I have to know, Chris. I have to know if it's as bad as you think it is. Plus, I want to get your opinion on you rewatching it.
Oh, my opinion's fresh because I bought a Blu-ray version of this movie not too long ago and rewatched it, and I was like, oh god. But can I make a little audible request though?
Drinking game?
That well, I will drink to get through it, but can we break the rules a little bit and can we do Gamera versus Gauss after the episode after?
Sure.
Because I think doing a Showa Gamera movie coming off of this would be fantastic.
I will allow it. It's a perfectly.
You could even watch the Mystery Science Theater 3000 version of Gamera vs. Gauss, but
that's the only way I've ever seen this movie. So.
All right, well, Kong Christmas comes a little early in the form of Godzilla X Megagears.
It's a little preview. It's an it's an appetizer.
Yeah, I guess we should start plugging Kong Christmas now that Halloween is around the corner. That we will be doing Peter Jackson's King Kong at Christmas,
and I am looking forward to it. And also the fact that I have to watch it again kind of sickens me, but it's worth it. It's worth it just to do the podcast about it.
This is the only time I'm going to say it in the run-up to Christmas because no one's going to remember that I said this, but I also bought the PS2 version, as you know, of Peter Jackson's King Kong. And I started to play it, I stopped playing it, but I will beat that game prior to that Christmas episode that we do. So
Godspeed to you on that.
But Halloween's around the corner. That's where we're focusing on first.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I will watch every Peter Jackson movie I can and lead up to it.
Fantastic.
Well, I guess that does it for episode 30. We're 30 now. We're in our dirty 30s of this podcast, so we're mature at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you have anything you'd like to say to our listeners?
Yeah, JD stands for just a dummy.